And we are back. Oh my goodness, season 3. We are out the gate. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. 3 seasons in. I missed y'all. Oh my gosh, it feels like it's been so long because it has been. It has been a long time. There's been so many things going on in my life. There's been so many new developments, and I can't wait to share it with you guys when the time is right, obviously, because I'm working on being more transparent. I'm working on being more forthcoming. I'm such a private person, and the fact that I'm even doing podcasts in general is mind blowing because it allows you to be, or forces you. That's the word. It forces you to be more vulnerable. That's something that I have been working on. I'm going to continue to work on that. And I hope you guys still want to rock with me during this journey. Thank you guys so much to those who've been listening to my podcast and internationally. I mean, come on. I can't believe that. I feel like I get more international love than I do domestic love here in the United States. But that's okay because you go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. All right. But you know how we do. Y'all, I'm sorry if y'all hear my chair squeaking in the back. It's this lumbar support. So I'm trying to be still, but I'm kind of animated a little bit. So, let's go ahead and get into our queen quote of the week. You already know. It says, just because I am not where I want to be doesn't mean I can't get there. Period. Don't look at your situation now and think it's never going to happen. Look forward. Think forwardly. Visualize where you want to be. And you're going to get there. I really don't have much to say about that because I'm going to be talking about that and so much more later on. But just know, I just deposited that little nugget in there for you. So, I'm going to repeat it again, and you can say it with me. Just because I am not where I want to be doesn't mean I am not going to get there. And that is your queen quote of the week. So, for our royal tea time, I thought it would be fun to do a little Q&A kind of with myself. And when I have different guests on here, I will do these same cards with each guest. But for right now, I'm just going to pick a couple cards and let's see where the conversation takes us. So I have 2 different sets of cards. One set of cards is called Table Topics, and the other set of cards is called Deep Dilemmas. Handcrafted hypotheticals guaranteed to cause controversy. So I'm just going to pull a couple and let's just see what it says and what we're going to talk about. First card. Ooh. What obligation do you believe you have to your country? That's deep. That's deep because being a Black woman in America, I feel like I have an obligation to succeed. I feel like I have an obligation to be better than previous generations. I feel like I have an obligation to show those who are younger than me that despite where you come from, you can achieve something great or whatever field you are interested in. And I feel like I have that obligation as a follower of Jesus Christ and a citizen of the kingdom of God. I feel like I have an obligation to spread the message of the kingdom, to be a voice to my generation, to let them know that not everybody thinks like the generations of old, especially when it comes to the church. And I'm going to have like an episode about religion versus spirituality and all of that. Like I'm dedicated to talking about that this season because I feel like it's needed. Obligation to this country. I guess that's it. Like, I feel like I have the obligation not so much towards my country, but for myself and my people in this country to show them, like, don't let anyone put us in a box. And don't let anyone make us feel like we can't do things and we're not great, because we have so much to offer. Dang, it came out the gate deep. Let's see. What's another question? Which sports team has the best mascot? I mean, okay. This is a Eagles household, so I'm just gonna say the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, I'm not. Don't at me. Don't come for me. That's all I got for you. Okay, that's all I got. That's all I got for you. I'm gonna pick one more from the table topics, and then maybe one from the deep dilemmas. So let's see. What's this? In your opinion, what are the 7 wonders of the world? Jeez, like, these things are deep. Okay, in my opinion, what are the 7 wonders of the world? Basically, the 7 wonders of the world are anywhere that I choose to vacation. Okay, so I'm going to flip that, and I'm going to talk about the places that I want to visit. I want to go to Italy. I want to go to Paris, France. I want to go to Greece. I want to travel to Antigua. I want to travel to Mexico. I want to go to London, England, and I'll just say Jamaica. So those are my 7. But those are on my list, my immediate list. Let's go for the deep dilemmas. So would you rather have to get a new driver's license at the DMV every Friday, or get a horrible brain freeze whenever you touch an animal? Do I have to pay for this driver's license every Friday? Because that would factor. Or get a horrible brain freeze whenever you touch an animal. I'm gonna go for the horrible brain freeze whenever I touch an animal, because I don't touch animals that often. And if I do, I feel like I have a trick to get rid of the brain freeze, just putting my tongue at the root of my mouth and holding it there. So hopefully that will work whenever I touch an animal. Okay, so that was just a little bit of tea for you during this royal tea time. I'll probably incorporate some of these questions in my other episodes, depending on how things go. If you have like ideas or questions that you want to send in, definitely go ahead and DM me on my Instagram, the podcast Instagram, which is Queen Convos Podcast, at Queen Convos Podcast. And first of all, let me tell you, I'm trying to revamp my whole social media platforms. So Instagram, I signed up for a TikTok. Lord help me with the TikTok. Lord Jesus. I'll see if I'm gonna do Twitter and maybe Facebook. I'm just trying to figure out what's gonna work best for me and for this podcast, and we'll see where that takes us.
Now you know what time it is, baby. Your Majesty awaits. It's time for the Majesty Moment.
So for our Majesty Moment, if you read the title of this episode, you may or may not know what I'm talking about, but we still gonna talk about it because I think like it has to be talked about today. And that is the buffet effect. Let me just break it down. I coined the term the buffet effect. I haven't heard anyone say it before. They might think of the terminology, but they haven't said it. And here on this podcast, the Queen Convos podcast, please know that this is my term, this is my phrase, this is what I've coined. So I have not heard this before. But what the buffet effect is, if you think about what a buffet is, a buffet is a smorgasbord of choices, options, availabilities to each individual person who is partaking of the buffet. So you can dibble and dabble. You can have a little bit of this. You can have a little bit of that. If you don't want that, you don't have to get that. If you want to put it all on your plate, you can put it all on your plate all at once. Or you can just go one by one by one. It's really up to your preference. I relate that in terms of how a lot of people are handling relationships or situationships or entanglements or all of whatever words you want to insert that's trendy at the moment. That's what the buffet effect relates to. It's that people have so many choices or feel as if they have so many choices that they don't have to choose because they can really have it all, or they don't feel like they need to settle down and make a concrete choice because there are so many options and they feel like they can always get better. They can always level up. So if you think about maybe even a decade ago or a decade and a half ago, the choices were limited for relationships or who you wanted to be with for the rest of your life or for that moment, for that matter, because your scope was limited. You were almost really limited to the people you know, the people who know you, the people you hang around, the people who you go to work with, who you go to school with, who you see in the neighborhood, and so on. But now you have almost free access to millions of people. Honestly, I mean, if your reach is that far, like you have access to millions of people, and that comes with, it's good because you get to be exposed to different people, how different people live, who they are, get to meet great people. But on the other hand, if it's abused, now you feel like you have unlimited options and there's no need for you to really settle down or to pick someone you want to be with until it's too late. And that is what I call the buffet effect. So I hear all the time from some of my single friends, I should say single acquaintances, because I really don't have that many single friends, that it's hard out here to date. It's hard out here to be in a serious relationship if that person wants to be in a serious relationship, because it feels like everyone that they're coming in contact with is playing a game, playing the dance, so to speak. It's like, okay, I'm going to have you over here, but then I'm going to have you over here and then you over here. And then it's hard to really develop a relationship or trust with that person because you think you're the only one. And the other person thinks they're the only one. And the other person thinks they're the only one to that one person. As queens, and shout out to my kings out there, as queens, as women, we have to understand the cards and the odds that are at stake and how the odds shift or don't shift in your favor. And then you have to be realistic about the relationships or situationships you get yourself into and really pay attention to what the other person is not only saying to you, but what they're doing and how they're moving. And the benefit of the doubt is cool, but you also have to really don't lose that common sense and don't lose that intuition when you know something is up. And I'm not talking about the people who always think something is up all the time, and it's irrational. I'm talking about reasonably, like you feel something, you seen how this person is moving, you seeing what they're saying to you, things are not adding up, and you know, like, okay, there might be something else going on. That's when you have to take a second and say, hey, what am I doing? What are we doing here? And that's another thing. It's about also being about equally yoked. Now, a lot of people talk about equally yoked when they're talking about, oh, if you are a Christian or whatever. If you're a Christian, be with a Christian. If you're a Muslim, be with a Muslim. If you're a Jew, be with a Jew. That type of thing. But it's more than that. It's also about being on the same wavelength, being in the same mentality, in the same headspace when it comes to relationships. So if you have someone who doesn't want to be monogamous and they want to have really their choice of the buffet, that's fine. But then you have to decide for yourself, are you that type of person who also wants that? Or do you want somebody who wants to be in a monogamous relationship? Well, if you want that, then you need to align yourself with someone who wants that and not try to change the person who is showing you and telling you that they don't want to be in that type of relationship. They want to, dibble and dabble. So you have to take that information into your own hands and be empowered to know, like, hey, I'm just going to find somebody who's on that same wavelength. All in all, the buffet effect, it can be good if it's used properly. I'm not really sure like where the line is, because with a buffet, it's like you tend to overeat because you have so many options here. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're overeating in their relationships. Now, I'm not talking about food. I'm just talking about the indulging of multiple people at one time. And I don't even know if generations to come, like Gen Zs and whatever generation is going to come after Gen Zs, if they want to be monogamous. I don't know if that's a thing of the past. I don't know if that's something that they're interested in. And I'm sure there are Gen Zs that want that, but is that the consensus? Is that the majority? Not sure. For millennials, I mean, because I'm a millennial, like I can say, hey, there are still people who want the monogamy, but then there's also a fraction of millennials who feel like, hey, I'm living in this buffet. I'm going to eat whatever, whenever, and that's it. So, I mean, that's my take on it. I want to know what you guys think about the buffet effect. I want this season to be very interactive. I don't know if I said I was going on YouTube as well, but I am. I'm going on YouTube. I'm trying to transition into a video-based podcast, and but I'm just trying to figure out what I should do. I think I'll probably put a couple episodes on there, just like audio with some visuals, but not fully how I want it, just to test it out. You guys can let me know if you like that. And then, then I'll see. But, I'm trying to elevate this podcast. But I said all that to say is that let me know in the comments. Let me know my Instagram. Let me know TikTok. Let me know on YouTube, wherever you see Queen Convos podcast, and just let me know. Let me know what you think about the buffet effect. Do you think the buffet effect is an adequate recitation of how people are moving nowadays when it comes to relationships, situationships, and all the other stuff? Do you think it needs to be tweaked a little bit? Like, what do you think? I mean, even if you disagree with me, like, that is completely fine. I feel like it's a conversation that we need to have. Hopefully my chair is not squeaking this entire episode, because I would be so upset if it's squeaking the entire episode. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you again for listening in and consistently listening in, especially we are in season 3. We're getting bigger and better. So stay tuned for what I have in store. We're going to talk about some good topics. We're going to just dive deep, get real, and continue to elevate and grow as women and men, but primarily as women, and really just explore these new journeys and these new things that we have going on in our lives. I'm going to get out of here. It's your girl, Melissa. And remember to adjust your crown, walk in your purpose, and always remember who you are. Catch you later. Hey, you guys, it's your girl, Melissa, host of Queen Convos, Life Goals for the Queen in You. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please feel free. And matter of fact, go ahead and do your girl a favor and like, comment, subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please go ahead and rate and review. I love you guys so much for listening, and I will see you later.